Alright, what's up guys? So I ended up getting a little carried away and I did the whole lift kit already. Completely forgot to videotape any of it. So I'm just going to give you guys a walk around on how to do it. Just a reminder, it is a 91 K2500 light duty. So it's kind of a mix between suspension parts from 1500s and 2500s. It's 6 lug axles, but it's got the same lower control arms as a 2500. Just kind of mix and match the way they did this truck. But yeah, so I'll give you guys a quick walk around on it. So back up, you can see the truck's still running the same 35s. They just fit a lot better now that it has a 6-inch. They're actually pretty much too small. Although whenever I replace these front fenders, because someone trimmed them recently or in the past before I had it, so whenever I replace these, they will probably fit better, because right now they just look too small. But it does make a big height difference. The truck is the bed of the truck is equal with my shoulder, and I'm pretty much 5'9", give or take a little. So, but it's a little bit of a weird lift kit. Most of the 6-inch lift kits aren't really set up like this, but the way that this one is kind of cool, because as you can see, this is basically just an upper control arm drop bracket. It drops your mounts down here. I assume that's probably like 6 inches. Really simple to install for the most part. Obviously these bolts are simple, but there is 3 bolts on the bottom of it that have rivet nuts. So basically what you have to do is you have to drill it out to, I believe 11/16 is what size the hole has to be. And then you put a rivet that is threaded inside that hole, and you rivet it in, and then you will put this on here, and it makes it so the way you can run a screw from the bottom of this up into the frame, instead of, trying to find a way to actually tap it into the frame. So that's really the only kind of complicated part about the lift kit. Everything else is pretty simple. It does move the sway bar. Instead of giving you new brackets or extended brackets, it just completely moves it, because it used to be up here. Actually, I think this is, yeah, it used to be right here. Now it's way down here. And it's flipped over. Or no, actually. No, yeah, that's the way it was. But, so I mean, for the most part, it's pretty simple. I also did all new ball joints and bushings and everything at the same time. Not something you have to do, but I do suggest it. I can't think. For the front, they really stress that the diff needs to be like ground down perfectly flat, and it really just, it doesn't, because you cut off one of the eyes, one of the mounting eyes. But I didn't grind it perfectly flat because I didn't want to run the chance of making the diff's wall too thin or anything like that. So I actually left a little bit of material on there, and it still fits just fine. It's got lots and lots of room, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. The big thing that I did run into an issue with is whenever you trim that bracket back there that goes on that lower control arm, do make sure that you cut enough off of that, because I managed to get it first try, but it was fairly close, so I ended up cutting a little bit more off just to be safe. But other than the front, that's it. The knuckle and everything is still the original factory one. So let's go to the back of the truck and see what we got back there. So the back is just blocks. They go in underneath the leaf springs. I mean, I assume that all you guys that are trying to do this at home know how to do that. It's fairly simple. Just try to take those bottom bolts off. If you can't get them off, then cut the U-bolt, because you're not going to reuse the old one. This job's pretty simple. I mean, it's a lift kit. It's time consuming, but in reality it's not hard. You just got to pay attention. I can't stress enough to just go by the instructions, especially if you don't like do this on a constant basis, you know, day to day, you do it for a living, this is how you make money. Just because you don't do it every day doesn't mean that you can't figure it out. But I'm telling you, I do this every day, and I still use the instructions because it just makes it easier. You never know if they design something that needs to go on a different way than what you think that it would go on, or, you know, if there's a specific order for something that you have to put together that you don't realize has to go in at certain orders. It just makes your life easier. Don't mind the car that I'm walking under. It's just a good way to save yourself some time, because in reality, if you don't have, you know, a lift that you can use, and you don't have your own alignment machine, and you don't have air tools, this job is not going to be an 8-hour thing for you. It'll be more like a 10 to 15, depending on what kind of issues you run into, and, you know, what kind of worker you are too, because some people are a lot slower than others. It took me about 7 hours, but that's because I have a lift and I have everything that I need right here. So, yeah. Other than that, it's pretty simple. So go ahead and just comment if you guys want to see anything else on the truck. I'm trying to decide what I want to do to it next. So give me ideas.